Hi, beautiful souls. I'm Klara Lima, and this is Out of This World show. My purpose is to bring the best out of the best ones. Let's evolve and elevate. What's up, guys? Welcome to this beautiful, amazing show, Out of This World show. I'm the Klara Lima, and this is my dear guest, Mark Shapiro, super successful mentor, businessman, and social media personality. He is a very inspirational person. He is known to be very sharp and very real on the camera. And today we are going to interview him about his life. My show is all about mindset. My show is all about how people grow, how people elevate, and it's basically about how to get better in life, because love, if you say that backwards, is evolve. So that's what it really is.
Amazing.
It's true. If you spell love backwards, it's evolve. So you only evolve through sharing love. And you can share love by sharing positive content. Correct? That teaches people. That's sharing love.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of ways on social media how you can share a lot of things that's gonna just get you views and degrade society, but that's not what we are here for. We're here to elevate and evolve. Okay. Thank you so much for joining this show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Thank you for having me. It's my privilege. It's my blessing.
Thank you so much. So please, can you tell us what was the biggest out of this world thing that you have ever done?
An aha moment, or the craziest thing I ever did?
The craziest, like something that you surprised yourself.
Heli skiing, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe heli skiing, maybe skydiving.
Okay, skydiving. Where?
Actually in Miramar, Perry Airport.
Okay.
It's tandem, so they strap you.
Okay.
And it's kind of scary until you get out of the plane.
Okay.
You don't want to get out.
You don't want to get out.
Yeah.
So how do you feel when you're doing these things? How does it make you feel?
It's an absolute adrenaline rush. And quite frankly, when you are doing something that nobody knows is good, like going and giving people food who have nothing, and asking them their name and asking them, what's going on in their day, in their life, that's also an adrenaline rush. And today I noticed that everybody is so concerned about what they have and what they're driving and who they're impressing, and they forget to actually realize that the essence of a person is from their giving to another person, their kindness. And I always say this, I do a message every Friday to my 900 dearest friends. It's a Shabbat message, because I am what's called Shomer Shabbat, I keep Shabbat, is we need to be kinder to each other. We need to be nicer to each other. And that's not enough going on in this country. And if we just did simple things like hold the door for somebody and smile at somebody and ask them how their day was, you'd be surprised how much of a difference we could make. Exactly.
And it's also called a butterfly effect. The one action can move the whole society. That's how I see the world, that we think it's just us, but we actually realize that we, with our actions or how we react on things, we move the whole society. That's the vibration literally when we're putting out there. One person will remember to be treated a certain way, and then you have a chance that the person is gonna treat somebody else the same way like you treated them. Same like hurt people. People who are a lot of love inside and who live in their true and in alignment, they most likely going to react way different than people who live in hatred or embitterment.
Well, you said that. A person who holds hatred in them doesn't affect the person that they hate.
Yeah.
It affects them.
Yeah.
They're the one who suffers.
Yeah.
And when you learn to let go of all these things and all these preconceived notions that goes on in today's society, or in the society that I grew up in, because I'm 64, so I know how old you are, but I'm double your age.
Yeah.
It was very different for me as a kid growing up. And today's kids are spending their time on their phone instead of spending their time outside
Yeah.
with their friends, being nice to one another, enjoying one another, breathing fresh air, playing sports, doing things that it's going to show them that they have to show up. They have to do certain things. Today, a person can just show up on their phone and pretend that they're doing something.
Yeah.
It's not active.
Right.
And activity is a very important thing for today's
Super
society.
important. And also, what is important is to actually be connected with the nature, with the real world. Because I catch myself sometimes when I was going through moments, of when I was anxious about life or stuff like this, I caught myself scrolling on the phone, being basically disconnected with my real self, right? And then I realized maybe I should get into feeling myself, like through meditation, through reconnecting myself, through going out to the nature, through just feel the world and start to see things to be grateful for, because that's like the biggest medicine. When you start to shift your mind and you realize that there are so many beautiful things to be grateful for. What social media does, though, it makes you look at social media, and most of people gonna start to think about how they can do better, what they don't have, because the world we created on Instagram is a false reality in many cases. Unfortunately, that's what sells. If people just showing setups and stuff like this. So this is why we appreciate you, okay? Because you are actually real. You deliver real value without filter.
No, I don't have a filter, that's for sure.
You don't have a filter. So tell us something when it comes to what is your biggest lesson in life? You're 64. That's a very wise and transformational age.
I don't know. I don't think that I'm so wise. I will tell you that I still believe, even though the real estate business is a tough business, I still believe people are good, inherently good, and I want to think that. Yeah. Even though people sometimes try to take advantage of you when you're doing a deal on that side. You see it coming, you know it's coming after you've done it 100, 200 times. It's very transparent. But when you actually connect with somebody and you let your guard down, they get into your soul and you can be deceived. And in today's market, there's so much going on because of social media. There's so many people out there that will tell you, I can teach you this for this. I can show you how to do this if you just do this. And look at my Lamborghini or my Rolls Royce or my mansion or my jet. We don't do that. We come up with topics. We talk about things. We take somebody and we debunk what they're saying. And we want people to actually realize that not everything that they're seeing is real. And not everything that somebody is saying actually has any value. And I see it going on all the time. And that's what got me to start doing this, because I was getting frustrated. Because when you buy something at the store, when you buy a Starbucks coffee at the store, a caramel macchiato, which is delicious, by the way. My daughter's mother, that's what she loves. But she couldn't say it because English was not her first language. It has an inherent value. And to you, it has an inherent flavor. And it gives you that sensation and that feeling of satisfaction. When you buy a business course, it should tell you from A to Z how to go, what to do, how to do it. And today, there are a lot of these courses, and they don't do that. And that's what started me doing that, because there needs to be some kind of governing of what's going on in social media. And
Yeah. I'm
not the social media police. I'm just a guy that's in the real estate business that knows it and has been in it. And I've had my head cracked open. I went through 4 cycles, maybe 5 or 4 plus a small cycle. And, the great financial correction in 2008, it was the greatest transference of wealth from one pocket to another pocket. And today, we're right at that precipice. We're going to see that happen again. Now, some people don't believe that, But that's just my philosophy. I could be completely wrong. I've been wrong about a lot of things. But we're going to see it. I think we're going to definitely see it. And we're going to see a lot here down in South Florida, although this market is a bit of an anomaly from an economic standpoint. But it will happen.
It will happen. Okay. What do you think young people should be focused on in order to be happy? I'm not going to even say the word successful. I'm going to say the word happy.
So I get a lot of young kids that want to get into real estate. I bought my first deal when I was going into my junior year in college. So I was in my early 20s. I was 21. And I tell them, these kids that are just going to college, go to college. Have some fun. Meet a girl, have a beer. But then I think the other side of me, the right side of my brain says, okay, go to school, work your ass off, save your money, and go out and buy some real estate. So I get conflicted. But when a 16-year-old kid or 17 or an 18-year-old kid is so driven that they want to acquire wealth because they're seeing these things on social media, what they need to do is they need to step back and they need to look at their parents. They need to look at that interpersonal relationship. How when the father came home or the mother came home, everybody sat down at the kitchen table and ate dinner and interacted and just had a simple communication. It's lost because of a phone today.
Right.
And we need to get back to these basic, simple things where, okay, Wednesday's meatloaf or hamburgers, okay? I tell these kids, go to college, have some fun. Meet a nice girl, have fun. Meet a lot of nice girls. I don't know. College for me was very different. College was different a long time ago.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. We have to look at our roots. We have to, because if we don't know where we are coming from and what drives us, it could create from my experience, there is two emotions that drives people. It's either living in abundance or living in lack. And I experienced both mentally. And I didn't know that. I didn't know I was living in lack or I was living in abundance till I saw the difference. Because I feel like you have to go through stages in life to learn. You have to go through the darkness to understand the light.
If you don't go through a difficulty, you will never, ever, ever grow.
Never.
I will say that when I made my first few $1 million, I was young. I was in my mid-20s. I was very fortunate. And I didn't even have enough money when I went to the closing. I actually sat with the seller at the closing and asked him to hold a little paper for me at that day of the closing. I walked in there with not enough money to close. And my lawyer told me, he said, look, sit with him, ask him to hold some paper. But I will tell you that didn't change me. Making that money didn't change me. Doing it over and over again, I actually started to think that I was smarter than other people. And until you actually get hit in the head with a bat or a 2x4, you don't realize that you're not. You're just, for me, it was just luck. Timing is luck. Real estate can be very lucky.
Lucky?
And lucky, yeah, it can be very lucky.
Yeah.
I'm not a smart guy. I'm a lucky guy.
Me, I'm lucky too.
So, yeah.
Yes. It's important to be lucky in life.
I'd rather be lucky than smart, that's for sure.
That's true. If you have good luck, you win in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. So you're lucky. So luck comes from great intuition too. The inner voice that tells you when to do and what to do, what not to do. And basically it's also being connected with your heart. If you're not connected with your heart, because I believe that the intuition is the higher wisdom that is connected with your heart. It's not your brain. Your brain, we can only put as much in our brain as we can, right? But there is the higher intelligence. There is God. There is the beautiful heart
He's
we have.
the chairman of the board of the universe. He runs the world.
One more time.
He's the chairman of the board of the universe. He runs the world.
Yes.
We all exist because of God.
Yes.
Now, some people don't believe that. But that's what I believe in, believing the Torah and trying to follow it very hard. So,
You know, to be really honest, I'm a strong believer as well that whatever you believe is your truth, and the truth will manifest, no matter what your beliefs is, because we are creators, right? As humans, we create with our mind, with our thoughts, with how we feel. I was writing about that today, that the feeling is the creation, actually, of everything. What we feel, we create, is even more powerful than words, than thoughts, than ideas, or whatever. The feeling, how we feel inside, that's what's gonna attract everything around us. And it's so important to take care of health of our heart, actually, because if you don't have a healthy heart, which can be affected by even songs we listen, if we are keeping our vibration in sadness, past, being disappointed or angry, not letting go, attachment is a big one. That means that there is no more space for new abundance, right? New blessings. It cannot
have
come.
you ever been in love?
Yes, I have been in love, yeah.
Truly in love?
Yes, yeah, I can say.
More than once?
Yes, yeah.
Wow, you're lucky.
Twice, yeah.
You're a lucky girl.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
Because I can say that probably in my time twice.
Twice?
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't my first wife. Well, I didn't marry the second one when it wasn't her.
Mm-hmm. So what love means for you? What it means to you, love?
A truly deep connection, respect, kindness, and wanting to truly have that person have a successful life.
Okay.
And making their life easier and doing for them.
Okay.
So.
That's a beautiful explanation.
Yeah.
You know what I also learned? That people have to match. If people don't match,
Oh, absolutely.
that doesn't matter how much hard you try to communicate, how hard you try to go from external things, there is somebody for everybody. And I'm a strong believer that people can be so good, but if they don't match vibrationally or with the goals, with a lifestyle, it's not going to work out. And this is something that I'm a passionate student about this topic, and I realized that the matching in the relationship, I would say that's the number one that people have to realize, that when you fall in love, you have to fall in love with the actual person, not with the potential. If you fall in love with the potential, you might be disappointed, and it's like a rat race that you can.
So it's like a piece of real estate. You're buying a fixer-upper.
Right.
You're buying a fixer-upper.
Right. So
you look at that person and you see them in a certain respect and say, well, if I do this, this, and this, they're going to be perfect for me. Or you just enjoy and fall in love with who they are.
yes.
And the package that comes with it. And the
Right.
thought process and the way you interact.
Right.
Yeah, that's the way I
So-
feel now.
So that's the way how you feel now.
Before, I used to look at a woman, and the first woman that I truly fell in love with, she was just, I could sit and talk to her for hours. She liked a lot of the same things I liked. I found her to be incredibly beautiful. I found her mind to be incredibly beautiful. She had so many things that I had in common with her, and there wasn't a thing that we didn't
match.
And she was divorced with 4 kids, and at the time I had 3 children, 3 daughters, and I asked her to marry me. We were actually on a plane, had them bring the ring out on a plate, and her name was Brenda. I still talk to her today. We're still friends today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just a crazy, incredible person. And then after that, and after my youngest daughter's mother, I never thought I would ever, ever, ever meet someone. And I did. Actually, I always tell the story that she picked me up.
Okay.
And I gave her my phone, and I said, well, put your phone, your number in my phone, and we'll have some coffee. And she just is a phenomenal person. I mean, she's smart, she's energetic, she is a great listener. She loves to cook. I clean. She cooks. I clean. And she's in the real estate space, and we constantly are talking about this. And a great mother, and just
Okay, that's amazing.
amazing person.
That's amazing.
And you don't meet that in Miami. It's not the easiest thing to meet here.
Very true.
Because you don't know if somebody really wants you for what you have
Or for
or for
you.
who you are.
Yes, that's very true.
So
I feel like it's the culture of this city. It's a culture, and it's like the collective culture. Unfortunately, anyhow, I believe that if you are I believe you attract who you are, at the end of the day. So I know some amazing people that have healthy relationships. It's just, this city is very transformational. Actually, Miami is a vortex of energies.
absolutely.
People come here, people go here for one thing, to get better life. If you're not strong enough, it will destroy you. With the drugs, with the parties, with the influences, with the fairy tale that doesn't exist. I experienced that here as a young woman. When I came here, I was 24. I was on and off. I was still traveling the world, but I was 24 when I first saw Miami. And I saw all these cars. I saw all the lifestyle. Before, I never saw anything like that before. Like, of course, before I went to Dubai, I went to Ibiza. But Miami has a special culture that is very all about the glam. The darkness of the city is though that it's not solid. It's not real. Most of these cars here are rented. And they are there to impress women.
Yes.
To get sex with them. That's the whole agenda of why these guys are renting the cars. And I never, when you are young and you don't see these things, that these intentions are not something that is good or solid. And I'm not saying it's bad, because it's just people, how they grow, how they enjoy, how they elevate. And if it serves both parties, there's nothing wrong. But people need to know what it is. Otherwise, they get hurt. Especially women. In the city, women can get hurt. I saw a lot of women going down here with addictions. Because eventually, no matter how strong or beautiful you are, it doesn't matter if your soul is not okay, if you're doing things to hurt yourself spiritually, and you keep messing with your feminine energy in different ways. If you're using wrong way your sexual energy, karma will get back to you. Not for everybody, because some females, that's their soul experience they need to go through. Some people really are like this and it works for them and it's fine. But for a lot of women that I saw here, they get into that lifestyle. They cannot get out of that lifestyle because it's like a drug. And then the question is, what is going to happen in 5, 10, or 15 years with the future of the women?
Well, you can't be up every night until
you can't.
2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning.
Because it's going to show.
Nothing good happens after 1 o'clock.
Nothing.
My father always used to say
nothing
that.
Happened. Yes.
If you want to achieve a certain level of success, you cannot rely on another person to give you that success. You have to rely on yourself.
Yes.
So there are some men and women here that work, that grind.
Yes.
And, that's my philosophy. That's my mentality. That's how I was raised. If you want something, go get it.
Yes.
Don't ask anybody for it. Go and get it. And I was going to make this point that until I went through a difficult time, I didn't realize what a jerk I was. I didn't realize that I didn't understand the true meaning of empathy. And when I finally grasped it and I realized that everyone didn't have the same amazing parents that I had, the amazing home that I grew up in, the amazing opportunity to have an education, to learn real estate from two grandparents, and have a mother who was a commercial real estate broker, and my mother was an artist, and to learn all these things, to be able to have, be able to touch different things, I didn't realize that we needed to be better to one another. And that's when I realized I needed to actually find a bigger purpose, and my bigger purpose has been teaching people and showing people how to do things with little or nothing, because I learned how to do things with little or nothing. And you can still do it today. Today, that I think they call it in the real estate industry subject to. I mean, they repackage everything from 40 years ago. It's all the same stuff. A building's a building, rent's rent, operating something is operating it. So, but we got off the subject. I didn't truly learn how to be empathetic to another person until I got knocked on my ass and fell flat on my face.
What was the lesson?
The lesson was, I'm no different than anybody else. But the lesson is, if I can look up, I can get up, and I know better on how to do things. And if you know how to do something, you'll never be hungry. You'll never go without.
Absolutely.
But you also have to do that. When you're doing it, you need to be kind and gentle to other people.
Yes.
You don't leave all the chips on the table.
Yeah.
Or take all the chips off the table. You leave some of them on the table. We call leaving a little meat on the bone on a deal.
Right.
You can't suck every last penny out. And a lot of new investors think they can.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. And thank you for sharing. It's exactly why I'm passionate about creating these type of content, because it's very important for people who are 15, 18, 20, 25, 30 to learn, and they don't need to do the mistakes. Actually, I heard that life is too short to learn from your own mistakes. You can listen to somebody who went through that, if it's the common universal laws. That's what I'm talking about. Because I believe that your own mistakes actually teach you super valuable lesson, and then you can teach others too. So sometimes when you're a strong human being, you can take the mistakes because you need them to grow sometimes. I feel like the idea of mistake came from school, that people so fear to fail, they fear to, is like the root of that is the ego. Actually, the root of that is fear of death.
Well, our egos are enormous.
The ego is the, when you have fear, the root is that you're afraid that you are going to die, which we all going to die. The point is, sometimes the learning is the beauty of life, because if you want to be one day maybe a teacher, a motivational speaker, or a businessman, and you want to make it to the old age, what you gonna tell to your grandkids? Which kind of stories? They need to have something, right? It has to be entertaining. I heard that life looks from close like a tragedy and from afar like a comedy.
I've heard that also. You know who said that?
No, I don't know.
I would love to know who said that.
I don't know who said that. I think, you know who said that? I think Robert Greene. Didn't he? That's my favorite author.
The Economist?
No, he is a writer.
He's a writer.
Robert Greene. I think he said that, at least in his interview. But it's very true. Life looks like a comedy from afar and a tragedy from close. So if somebody is going through a hard time, the most important part is to breathe in and trust the process. And do good, right? Moving with integrity. Yeah. What else would you add? If somebody goes through a hard time,
I was actually going to ask you, what was the most difficult period you ever went through?
That's a good question. I had a lot of, my life is about transformation, really, about evolving as a person, evolving to possibly the best version. My big lessons were not being balanced. I was not able to do things in balance, and
You seem pretty balanced now.
Yes, because it was very hard work. It's actually decades of work to balance my mind, to control myself, to build the discipline, and with everything really, with really everything, with from food. Food is my core of my discipline. I eat very
Healthy.
strict and healthy. Very. I never have cheat
You don't like
days.
Twinkies?
What is that?
I just had the discussion with the kids. It's from a movie called, well, it's Twinkies. They're like, it's like a cake. I don't know. It's like a Hostess Twinkie. It's all hydrogenated, manufactured poison. But in a movie, Zombieland, they were looking for Twinkies.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was.
Yeah, I don't like Twinkies. And I'm a strong believer that if you can master, the discipline starts with mastering one thing. If you master the one thing, then out of there you can build on other things. Because if you're not disciplined, for example, in the food, it's hard to be disciplined with everything else. Some people are. There is no judgment. But that's specifically my thing that I had to learn because I was overweight before and then I was anorectic. So I had to learn through life how to get myself in a form that is going to be sustainable and just better and better forever. Not just something temporarily through surgeries, but how can I build myself healthy, actually? Because what I learned is that the beauty really comes from within. It's a vibration. Health is a vibration. If you're a healthy woman or healthy man, people going to feel very different around your energy than when you have sickness inside you in form of something that you really created yourself through habits like smoking, drinking, drugs, bad food. We all know is not good for you. Mm-hmm. We all know that. This is a common knowledge. And I'm a strong believer, no matter which intention or vibration you put in these toxins, yes, okay, you can change them on some level, but most likely you're not going to change the effect of drinking. If you're going to be drinking every day till 5 a.m., it's going to affect you. It will. And it's going to get you looking old, and it's going to make you feeling shame about yourself. Shame is a very low vibration. And eventually people from these bad habits, they apply it to everything they do. And that's how the disaster is created in life. So it's never just about the alcohol or about the drugs. It's about what it creates psychologically in you.
Do you believe we existed before, that we had
yes, of
a
course.
life before?
Yes. I'm a strong believer in incarnations. I went through many of my own past life regressions. I did multiple past life regressions. I did it first in Thailand by myself, age 25. Actually, sorry, with a therapist, age 25. Mm-hmm. And I started to speak Arabic, and that's how I knew that, yes, there is a soul that knows much more than me in this form, in this century. There is a divine intelligence in all of us. Yeah. That's how I see the world, or that's at least what I experienced. I don't know, obviously, everything. I'm a strong believer that nobody knows everything, but this is my personal experience. And also, past life regressions make you understand who you are much easier because you see very similar situations that you went through, that you're going through right now.
What is it like when you go through a past life regression?
It's a feeling. It's a knowledge. You know straight away who you are, what was your lessons. You feel the strongest moments in your life. I felt a lot of betrayal, actually. I saw how I died. I saw what was important for me. Basically, the strongest experiences, the strongest lessons is all shown to you because the soul only picks what you are supposed to see, what you're supposed to, and through that you elevate. Mm-hmm. Because the truth is the healing. It heals when you know the truth. When something comes up, that's your actual internal healing. That's how you accept it, and you get more calm with that. Because humans, they have a lot of questions as a nature of mind. So this one is very therapeutic. Yeah. Do you believe in past lives?
I do.
Did you go through regression?
I have not. I have not.
Do you feel like in your life you had moments when you remembered something?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Or, I mean, people call it deja vu, but there are times where I will walk up to somebody and I
And you
will
know.
say, I know you from somewhere. Where do I know you from? And, you know, sometimes they'll be taken back, and sometimes they'll tell me where they're from, and it's just a feeling.
You remember.
Yeah. And I don't like to hold a lot of things back, and I think that as I got older, because I saw my father, who when we were little kids, he wasn't that emotional with us, and as he got older, he became very emotional. He told us how much he loved us, and he was always very physical, giving us a hug and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And
It's a healthy
for
love.
me,
Yeah.
having 4 daughters and them being the only reason I exist, being a parent is the greatest gift, and it's the greatest honor that you can have. And I don't always see eye to eye with my daughters. My youngest daughter, I pretty much do see eye to eye with, because she's like a clone of me. But the older ones, they have more of an affinity toward their mom, and when you divorce a woman, it becomes a more difficult.
Yeah.
So it's like telling somebody that who loves you, you don't love them, and you don't want to be there with them, and that's probably not the smartest thing to do. My father said, "Just you should have stayed married," and had a girlfriend on the side. And I'm like, "Well, Dad, why didn't you tell me that after I got divorced?" He told me that after, not before. But I wouldn't have done it anyways, because that's not being true to yourself.
That would create
Yeah.
a lot of pain in you.
Yeah, you can't do that stuff.
Yeah.
So leaving was the most difficult thing, but it took a lot of courage so that I could have a normal life.
Yeah.
So, and it took a long time to get there.
Yeah. Emotionally, right?
Yeah.
Emotionally letting go, realizing a lot of perspectives, reflecting.
Oh yeah.
I know, I can only
Oh, yeah.
imagine it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of influences, and especially I'm not a mother, I don't have kids, but I can imagine as a
Well, you're young. You still have lots of time, and I know
Yeah.
you'd be a great mother.
Thank you. Yeah. I think I'm a very loving person. I'm very good with kids, actually. I love kids. It's like a natural, but every woman is naturally.
Right.
Yeah, we have it in us. So, yeah.
You have a natural, gentle, kind energy. So
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It comes from you. You can feel it. So,
Yes, that's how my mother was.
Yeah.
I have it from my mom.
A lot of the people here, you can feel their negative energy.
Yeah.
And those are the people you have to steer clear of.
Yeah.
But it takes a while till you can get to that point, till you can actually feel it and assess it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever had a conversation with somebody where you're trying to talk to them and they never stop talking and they never hear what you're saying. I don't know if you have any
Yes.
friends like that.
Yes, I do. But I do have empathy for them because I understand where is it coming from, and I know them for a very long time. And sometimes you just have to learn if you have a negative friend, but you know their heart and you know them for decades. That sometimes people go through things. And sometimes you just have to learn how to be in control of yourself and disconnect yourself towards any influence, because that's the true strength of a mind. If you don't have anything and anybody affect your mind, if you know, okay, this is what the person goes through, as long as the people are not evil, as long as the people doesn't affect you in a negative way, then have an empathy, because everybody goes through something. And I know from my own personal experience, I was a completely, you would never recognize me like decades ago. You would not recognize me. I was out of my mind in the clubs, like really, it was bad. It was bad. I had my time when I was a teenager. I went through a tragedy, my personal tragedy in family, and I didn't know how to cope.
You want to know that one of the most difficult things. I have an older brother, brilliant guy, and he suffers from mental illness.
Yeah, that's difficult.
And the last time he had an episode, he was institutionalized, and I want to say it was July of 2022, and I'm the only one that goes to visit him. His son doesn't visit him. His wife doesn't visit him. So I had to go visit him. And I can safely say today, I know who shot JFK.
Okay.
That's a joke. Because he sat there with a crayon. Do you know who JFK was?
Yeah.
Okay. I was 3 when he got shot. And it just came to my mind when they tried to shoot President Trump, former President Trump. And he sat there with a piece of paper and a crayon, and he laid it out for me. And if you probably never walked into a mental institution. It's the most difficult thing to do.
I went to rehab. The rehab, it's like, it's not gonna be my life, because that you see people who do the drugs for 15 years. Speed. They like this, the body, they can never be normal again because the brain is fucked. And I said, like, no, I don't want to do this to myself. And these memories, actually, they can heal you, actually, because it's such a shock that if you don't see that, you don't realize where you're heading with your actions. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so much easier to look back at something than it is to face it.
Yeah.
So
yes.
What happened that you went through is what made you who you are today.
Yeah.
Through the process.
Yeah.
And diamonds are not. You just don't find a diamond in the beach.
Yeah.
Diamonds are created through pressure.
Yes.
And they're rare, and that's why you have to dig for them, and that's why you have to find them. And when you become a diamond from going through all this stuff, you have to share it with other people.
Yes,
and
I agree.
And that's what you're doing.
I agree. Yes, you have to share that. That's what I'm doing. And that's my life mission. And I told myself every single day I have to, on the social media, I have to create content that is going to elevate people. I am very connected, and I actually got the gift of sobriety too. I feel like it's a gift from Lord. You can really become sober just because you want to. That's not what is done through discipline. Sobriety is done through God. Mm-hmm. Really, because it's a healing power that you get. If you get this gift, you have to commit your life to share that with others. Otherwise, you're going to fail into addictions again if you use it for, for your arrogance or whatever. So that's what I learned through my life, that this has to be my life and has to be my life every day on daily basis, self-improvement, sharing that with people, like through photos, through posts. Every word has a frequency, it has a power. Whatever you do, it's really important because people in the society, they read, they listen what you say. No matter who you are, we all affect each other on some levels. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So if you choose to do good things will happen for you. Yeah. It's a very simple formula.
Yeah. You do good, good happens.
God
puts a certain person in your path because he wants them to be in your path.
Yeah.
He may put them in your path for a short period of time. He may put them in the path for a medium period, or he may put them in the path for a lifetime.
Or for 1 hour, or for 10 minutes, or for 30 years. It's true. And I am a strong believer that as a humans, we have to respect God's timing and God's order, and we cannot be attached. Because when the mission is done, it's done.
True.
And you have to move on and elevate in life. Thank you. What is the last thing you would like to share with people?
The last thing I would like to share with people: be authentic.
Be authentic.
Be authentic. Be real. Whatever that means to you. Whatever that means to me is you don't need to impress anybody except yourself. if you do the right things and you are that authentic person, people will accept you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right, Mark, what was your biggest free life lessons from real estate and business?
3 life lessons from real estate. Well, the first, and it's probably the biggest foundational understanding that you need to know whenever you go into the real estate business at a certain level, you never go in undercapitalized. When you're starting off, you can use a lot of different strategies and techniques to buy things without any capital. You don't need any capital. You need the knowledge to be able to structure the deals. Mm-hmm. But when you do these bigger deals, like this building that we're sitting in, which was built in the 80s by a Hungarian developer named Tibor Halo. And when he walked into a room, he was almost regal. I think he was like a prince. I idolized him. And he's passed. He actually passed away this year. Mm-hmm. And when you go into a deal, some people want to succeed and they want to buy so bad, they miss a lot of little simple things. They miss actually going through the numbers and verifying them. So you don't believe anything a seller tells you. You verify every last little detail. Mm-hmm. And you're either going to have a deal that's going to be a balanced deal or it's going to be imbalanced. And you will fail if it's imbalanced. If it's balanced, you will succeed. There are a lot of people that fall in love with a piece of real estate and they have to buy it. You don't have to buy anything. Mm-hmm. What you do is you buy a piece of real estate because it makes money and it's going to make money. Mm-hmm. And I always say this to everybody, a real estate deal is just like a bus. It comes along every 5 minutes. And you go from one to another until you find that deal where you fit a square peg in a square hole. A lot of developers try to fit a square peg in a round hole. New investors do the same thing. They fall in love with it. They have to figure out how to do it. They have to close it. They think this is the deal. This is it. I fell in love with it. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's usually not. Mm-hmm. And those are the ones that people fail on also. And then the last thing people have to realize is that any type of real estate, which the type of real estate that I do is multifamily, so it's housing. And it's one of the 3 necessities. And you need housing just like clothing and shelter, and clothing and food, clothing and shelter. And if you're in that space, and if it's hot and it's trending, like these spaces are trending, these spaces are hot. It's hard to get into these spaces. It's hard to find them. They're not that open. Miami needs these spaces. I may have just given somebody a business idea. You need to follow the trends and you need to execute on them. So that means you need to actually create a plan and you need to follow it step by step by step by step. And if you don't know how to do it, you need to find somebody that knows how to do it and get them to show you how to do it. But you don't need to go and pay somebody $100,000 to teach you how to do it. You need to find somebody that actually knows what they're talking about, and there's books, there's courses that are not expensive. There's people out there that are helping people, that are sincerely trying to make a difference. Not these guys that are showing you their Lamborghini or their Rolls Royce or their Ferrari or their house on the water or their boat. That's not what you want. You want somebody that's been in the business, that's conservative, that knows what to do. And you can find them. They're out there.
Okay.
So that's about it.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. That's a very valuable thing. To not trust anything that you see, but learn yourself.
You have to verify everything.
Verify and also learn yourself.
Oh. So they used to always say, you probably heard this, you guys, that real estate is all based on location, location, location.
Location, right?
Right.
Location. I know the McDonald's. As a real estate business, correct?
So McDonald's is really a real estate business. It's not a fast food business. It's all in the real estate business. But in today's world, it's execution, execution, execution. Mm-hmm. You're not going to spend your money on a piece of real estate unless it's a good location. But you need to know how to execute it. And there are a lot of people that can buy a great piece of real estate and screw it up. And like this building has been through so many transformations, they're still not sure what it's going to be. I guess now it's going to be a tech hub.
This one here?
This building here, yeah.
Okay.
Before this, I believe it was a university, right? It was FIU. So before, this was a vertical mall.
Yeah.
And vertical malls in the real estate space typically don't work. There was one in South Florida off of Sunset. You guys would probably know it as, I think, the Regency Shops. There's movies there. But before that, they baked bread there. It was the Wholesome Bread Bakery. Because I had my first apartment at 19 on the other side of Dixie Highway. And I will tell you, that was the year I took off from college, from my freshman to sophomore year. It was the best year.
Okay.
Miami was pretty crazy back in 1980.
Yeah.
Yes, it was wild here.
I can only imagine.
It was.
I can
It was
only
300,000, and it was all cowboys, gunfights, shootouts.
Yeah.
Really, real shootouts.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It
I
has
had
the
my
energy.
crazy uncle used to shoot people all the time. My Uncle Mickey. He ended up getting killed.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he was big influence.
It was
on my life.
wild.
June 23rd, 1980. Michael left. That's how I named my daughter Madison after.
Okay.
Mickey. Michael.
Vicky. Beautiful.
Yeah. So
What is the third lesson?
my third lesson in the real estate space is when you borrow money and when you owe a bank $1 million, you're just considered a borrower. But when you owe them $100 million, you're considered a partner, and they will never let you fail. So the more vested you are, the more you have, they're going to keep you alive, and they're going to never let you fail. I don't know if that's a good lesson. You can't fail to them because they have to keep you alive.
Right.
And in today's climate, people don't really realize that that's actually what goes on. There's a lot of favoritism in this business. There's a lot of nepotism. Well, nepotism is when you're born into it, or your uncle runs a bank, or your father, or in my case, my father-in-law. You know, so if you are at a certain level, they will take it away from you and give it to the guy that might be failing over here and push him up higher. So if you owe a bank $10 million, you're a borrower. If you owe them 100, you're their partner.
Okay. So more debt you create, better person you are in
Oh.
the system. Positive debt.
Absolutely. There's only two types of debt. There's investment debt and there's personal debt. And I don't believe in personal debt. I only believe in investment debt. So if you can only afford $2,000 for a car, that's what you buy.
Okay.
If you can afford $50,000 for a car and then you want to spend that, then that's what you buy.
Okay.
But you don't lease it, you buy it, you own it. Everything you have, you own.
Yes.
That was the way I was raised.
Okay.
We didn't have fancy cars. My father wasn't driving a fancy car, even though he was a dentist and successful. Nope.
What is the last thing that you would like to share with the audience?
The last thing I would like to share is don't be so quick to believe someone that's selling you a course or selling you something. Find the value in it. Find the value in them. Understand what they're giving you. There has to be a value proposition. Before you go out and spend this money to have somebody create a course for you,
Find the value.
find somebody that's actually succeeded from them.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So thank you guys for watching. This was amazing Mark Shapiro. Can you please share your social media and where people can find you and follow you?
I have social media?
Yes, you do.
Since when?
You have a social media.
On Instagram, I'm the Mark Shapiro. On TikTok, I'm at the Mark Shapiro. And on YouTube, I'm Mark Shapiro 1887.
Perfect.
So
Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you with the next episode. Follow and like Out of This World Show, and follow my personal Instagram as well, the Klara Lima. Love you.